Sun's coming up and the glare is so blinding. I'm sick of hearing and seeing all of the people whining. You want something good, then you better go put the time in. You get what you pay for, and time is money. We climbing. It's prime time, it's my time, I got it. I'll be just fine, my mind, you can't stop it. Give me a vine to climb and I'll top it. Grow yourself a spine, got mine, that's a promise. Take a deep breath and head towards the darkness. The light at the end wasn't put there by no novice. My hand I extend, so welcome to my office. No time to repent, we're building and not stopping. We're gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. And we ain't gonna take it slow, and we gon' make it out this hole. And ain't nobody stopping us, no. So watch me as I go, watch me as I grow. Yeah, I'm the fucking show. I'm gonna rule this world one day. Y'all finna know the name. I'm spitting game to the people who decide our fate. I'll make a name in history, be one of the greats. I've got the traits that you need to get past the gates. Man, I don't wait, I exceed every single day. A different breed.
Okay. All right. I think we're at appropriate volume now. There we go. Yes, OBS has it kind of separated from the mic and stuff. But hey guys, what's going on? So, basically all we got going on right now is I just wanted to do a quick wrap up and see if anything's working here. Oh, I see Mr. Quinn and Mr. Bold. Hey guys, how we doing? Am I coming through? Can you hear me now? Oh, I am Sam Dam. Sam Dam. It's related to John Clad Van Dam. Oh. If I enunciate it slightly different, Oh. Thank you. I'm unsure what to think of this. But yeah, no, I just wanted to give some rap. Can somebody let me know if they can hear me? Okay, I think it's actually broadcasting now. It's kind of weird because I'm looking at myself over here, but I see myself over here, and there appears to be about a 10 to 15 second delay. Okay, I believe the question has actually been asked now. I'm just looking for some feedback, because at least in this little studio it actually has a live chat and stuff, so that's kind of cool. Oh. Hold on, let me... I don't believe that's recommended, Bold. I believe that's a horse tranquilizer, actually. Yeah, or maybe some alternative ASMR. But yeah, no, I just wanted to give my final thoughts on my time down in Boston at the Rally to Restore Sandy and/or Turtles. There were several other events apparently going on, including the Straight Pride Parade, along with the Let's Take Back Our Pride event. I've heard folks say that there were actually a number of other events as well that were happening at that time. Apparently, I'm not sure if they all got permits or whatnot. I had heard some reports about, I believe there was one young lady that may have ended up being detained after she was utilizing a bullhorn, and I don't believe she had the appropriate paperwork filed. I mean, again, I believe there are certain sound ordinances. Again, I had gotten okayed from the city, but to be fair, I was a noob and didn't make sure the batteries lasted the whole travel and everything. So I noobed up on all of that. But no, it was still a good time. Again, as I was down there personally, I didn't particularly witness any acts of violence. I had heard reports that a number, I believe upwards, several officers had been attacked. at one point. So the events, the upwards of 36, I believe, that were arrested and are now, we are utilizing due process. They're going through the court system. I believe the prosecutor had actually recommended dismissing the charges. I believe the judge on the case had actually decided to go through with them. Just because if there's one thing I could take away is Boston wasn't messing around this past weekend. It's just BPD was out there strong. I did hear a report from one woman who said that the city literally drew resources from all over the place, and I believe she told me they actually ended up canceling the Korean festival or something that was also going on at the same time, just because just for those of you that haven't like filled out a form for like maybe like the city of Boston, I assume maybe some other cities are similar. What they'll say is, okay, what do you think you're going to need? Are you going to need a police officer? You're going to need one. And I think it was like $80 or $100 per officer. And then they go through. It's like, do you need an EMS member? Do you need an actual ambulance and stuff like that? I mean, it actually kind of makes sense. So I believe, I think the Straight Pride Parade, I think it was like $5,200 for what they had initially put down. After all the national attention, everything, I mean, there was at least one, if not more, actual helicopters that I believe had high resolution cameras, just kind of like keeping an eye on the crowd and everything. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm just sitting on the corner of Sam Adams Park there, good in front of good old Sammy A, one of our forefathers, and I'm there. Group of folks dressed in black, wearing masks, were going around. Sound of a chopper. I'm like, this kind of reminds me of having like 5 stars in like Grand Theft Auto, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, all right, I feel like I should be worried. I feel like I'm unsafe right now. But then just after a while, I'm just like, I'm just treating people like people. I mean, there are folks there for all different reasons. The folks over there at the Straight Pride Parade had top-notch sound system and stuff, and I mean, it's a good thing they did, because otherwise several hundred people that were there as well, just to counter protest, they they probably would have drowned them out. But they sounded like they were having a from the, as the Flintstones would say, a gay old time. I mean, I know, I'm sorry, I had to do it, oh no, but that's the thing. It's like they were out there having fun, and were there folks there to agitate people? I'm pretty sure there were. I'm pretty sure there were. And again, I'll always hear the pox on both houses. No, no, no. I think we've all had pox at one or another. Aside from like a newborn child, who of us is without sin? And this is why I say we're all more similar than we are different. We just do each have our own unique life experience. And again, just because you're a good person doesn't mean you don't do stupid shit. I mean, you combine that with the fact that, I mean, folks tend to act in their own self-interest as well. But I don't know. I stand by most folks are good people, man. Woman. Anything. Other kin. Everybody. It's all right. But oh, we got an SSM. Oh, hey, what's going on, Mr. Ogre? What's going on, my man? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to utilize a sound source from like a Discord or something else right now, just because since I am one of those people whom buy Macs, because my last MacBook lasted me 7 years as opposed to 2.5 that my longest laptop has. I mean, it may have to do in part that I don't regularly maintain it as I should, and have watched far too much pornography. Again, these are contributing factors. These were my choices, and hey, just having a good old time here. But oh, it's very interesting seeing very very eclectic crowd, we'll say. But again, just back to my general observations. I ran into folks. Again, I had heard reports from at least one individual. There were 2 other individuals there with them that basically didn't deny any of the things that she was saying right there, but I didn't take the initiative and actually ask, as a good journalist should do, because I think, I don't know. All I know is we have the technology now, and if I'm in an area where stuff and things are happening, then I want to go down and just see what's happening because I mean we got this fake news epidemic. That's why I've always just been kicking around. I'm like, all right, so why why don't we just emphasize this? It's almost like if we put out so much information that you couldn't even tell because dude, the thing is there was actually a court ruling and I think it was for either the Onion or one of those online sites where they do satirical headlines and stuff like that, and they literally ripped off I think like the New York Times or the New York Post or one of those big news outlets, and they literally just had it framed like it was, and I think they only had like a watermark or just something insignificant because it was upheld as freedom of speech because it's satire. Ah, see, I almost thought I'm like, oh, maybe I should make it like an app for that or something. Could call it the memes of destruction. Ooh, no, I bet basically just kind of do the old Mad Libs thing. It's like, oh my God, can you believe it? Donald Trump sold 20% of the U.S.'s uranium to Russia. How dare the Cheeto Fuhrer do such a thing? And then you link down to the original source, and you're like, oh, that was during the Obama administration, and Secretary Clinton actually signed off on that. And at that point, people's mind just kind of go into a pretzel. It's like, this is an outrageous act, and it cannot stand. Oh crap! I like that person. And I gotta give credit to Philly D because he actually put this mimetic in my head. He said, "All right, here's what you do: you take the situation and basically you take a person, the person that you don't like, you replace it with a person you like, and you replace that person with Jake Paul, and then ponder for a moment, something along those lines." And it's just, I kind of think, oh, oh, I see. Oh, hey TM, what's going on? Oh, how how dare I? Oh, two body cams with audio. Oh yeah, no, you could do that. I used my buddy's GoPro before. It had the protective case. Uh, the audio was not good. That was just my thing. But then again, that was probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Um, yeah, but I'm sure I could probably actually pick up maybe one or two of those. But to be fair, it's like you also want to be respectful to people. If you're gonna go out there and just kind of just do everything, because I'll be straight up, there was a point where there was probably a group of maybe upward, maybe not quite 10 individuals. They were dressed in black. They had masks. Um, they were conversing about just what they were doing and everything. And I was getting ready to go do like a live stream, and I'm there and I'm like, From what I've heard when I've actually listened to folks whom I believe identify as Antifa, and I can neither confirm nor deny this, I I could make an assumption, but I don't want to do that. I'm saying Antifa esque, or at least looking people. Again, I'm being judgmental here. They said, at least with the Andy No situation, that yes, he was recording, and they were afraid that they were going to get doxxed. And this is an argument I've also heard on other folks on the right, like they don't want to get doxxed, and that's the sad thing. A lot of folks that I've talked to, just on the ground, whether it's at the President Trump rally or even at the just down in Boston this past Saturday, it's just, I look at it and it's like folks don't want to engage. And that makes me really sad because now we're getting an inaccurate picture. I mean, I literally was just finishing up a good old Tim Pool video who, unfortunately for Mr. Tim, I love you, man, but I I think Mr. P has given me a poke in the behind, a little slap to the bottom, if you would, and I think I have to do a response video, just because when I hear Dude Man say, "Oh, I talk this stuff all the time. I have no problem telling you like who I voted for and stuff," and then he just goes on and he doesn't tell us who he voted for, and then he says it again today, and I'm like, Tim, I'm happy to still help you and Emily out with Subverse. I'm happy to do that stuff, but I understand it's your commentary and your whatever channel. It's not straight news, but that bothers me, man. That bothers me because the one thing that Mr. P pointed out to me is I'm looking at this, I'm like, dude, all right, you want something genuine? All right, I'll be genuine. It's not always easy, but I mean, I think far too often, more recently, we've just been doing things that are easy and that are not hard. And that seems to be the opposite of a mantra that a very wise man that left us all too soon used to say, or at least said once. And that's the thing, man. When I talk to people, and due in part to some of the individuals here, I've talked to folks all over the spectrum just because we have this great and wonderful tool called the internet. Folks that some would view as black nationalists and some that folks would view as white nationalists. And for some reason, they're in the other ends of the spectrum. You can go into horseshoe theory or whatever you want. I tend to think that things come full circle. But as far as that goes, you boil it down, man. Most folks, they want to live a good life and be left alone. And I think that's ultimately one of the driving factors for what we're seeing here. It's just the American dream to many people does not seem to exist. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It does exist, but perception at times can be reality. Just look at the whole thing with Jim Acosta and everything. He's sitting there. It's like, okay, if you take the most charitable interpretation, he's lightly just trying to move something away while he's engaging with the president. It's like, again, you can argue that's not his job, but at the same time, you look at it from another view and you're like, oh my God, here he is being belligerent with the president of the United States, and he's just shoving this young woman's arm out of the way. He just could have left a bruise or something, and it's like, yes, that's rude, absolutely. And Dude Man had his press credentials pulled. He did end up getting them back though, and that's the thing. If we are going to hold ourselves to principle, we have to be consistent. It shouldn't always be, oh, well, I'm just going to cheer for this guy, or I'm going to defend this guy, or something like that. Why? Because then we're worshiping idols. And maybe you're not that religious, but at least in the general chapters of the story of Abraham, they warn us of worshiping false idols. And that's the thing. I see this stuff happening again and again. It doesn't matter where it is. I've been on the internet far too long, lurking around, sometimes poking out different iterations and stuff. Like I said, this isn't my first YouTube channel. Even Mr. Ogre knows. I popped in at one point or another under a different alias before I made this quote-unquote shitposting account. And then when I went to launch all my memes of destruction, I'm like, it's kind of mean. And we are where we are. Frickin' have to be Dude Man that apologizes to Richard Spencer. Yeah, it took me 3 months, but if you're gonna launch fake news, you should do a retraction. That's the thing. You gotta be straight with people. Because people might not always like what you say. They might not always like what you believe in. But if you're not honest with people, then we have bad data. And that's the thing. If we're gonna make decisions based on inaccurate, or even worse, incorrect data, how the heck are we gonna model things? And I truly believe that's a lot of what happened with President Trump becoming President Trump. Because if you're like, all right, even Nate Silver, who basically is successfully predicting Final Four and was just off slightly for the actual champion or whatnot, it's like, all right, Donald Trump only has a 35% chance. That's still a chance. It's basically what I figured too. I'm like, all right, it could happen. I didn't think it would. It did. But yeah, and I'm absolutely terrified because after Mr. The Plague showed me that little chart about the left jumping heavily to the left, I'm like, all right. So I can see a trend. Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. I can fully agree and acknowledge that. But then all of a sudden I see just a sharp spike over the course of 2 years. What happened during those 2 years? And I'm just like, I can think of maybe 1 or 2 things, maybe. But, wait a second. Am I being accused of things? Bold. Memes is turning me into a disciple of Mr. The Plague. Oh dear. What have I done? What am I unleashing upon the world? Oh God. Oh, people aren't getting notifications. Oh, well, I suppose. Well, it's the algorithm's weird, and YouTube, it's consistently, okay, you're dealing with millions and millions of channels and millions, if not like a billion or so users. Whether or not it's a single user, they're doing multiple accounts, whether it's just by the standard administration style, which you actually can go back and actually link all your channels and stuff together. I would recommend that. Some folks try to get around that because they think they're going to get banned and stuff. It's like, dude, if you're not really doing anything that's banned, the thing that gets me is I'm like, what? Why? I think I actually. Oh, I won't go into this yet. We'll see. I don't think we're at that point in the story. But, oh, geez. Which part can't you put down? What I feel like I'm missing things in chat. Oh my god, I should start reading. Oh, they shave stuff. Well, they update and then you go back and forth. Dude, you're dealing with so many different variables, and I'm just thinking just from very basic things, just kind of building and just working a little bit behind the scenes on the Skeptics Guild. It's like, all right, there's a meme where it's like 99 99 problems of what is it, 99 bugs in the code. It's like instead of 99 beers on the wall, it's like 99 current errors in the code right now, 99 current errors, take one down, pass it around, all of a sudden you're back to 127 errors in the code, and it's difficult. And that's the thing, because if you even notice like how we have things laid out, I'm just looking at just standard like live chat manager right now. It's like, all right, I got myself kind of over here, and I actually have the chat over here, and I'm looking. It's got like stream settings. It's giving me a warning. It's saying check the resolution. My resolution is weird. Oh, because I think I have a setting set out. It's going through OBS. But oh god, what was that? Oh. About inviting you and Mr. Blake to channel to Oh, you think you'd be too biased? That's very honest of you. I absolutely love that. You know who I thought was actually a great referee, and it was Cabby. That was the thing, because when I watched, I believe it was him and what was it, Tigerson, and I think 40 ounce. And he was just kind of going through. He was just doing the introduction like an old school ring announcer. And I'm just like, oh, it's so good. And he's like representing the red, white, and blue. And then he happened to point out, well, the Netherlands is also red, white, and blue. He's like, oh, my apologies. And that's the thing. You just got to be able to admit you're wrong. And it's like, we like having a lot of banter and everything. But it's, again, we're human beings. We developed over thousands of years just looking one another face to face, actually just right in the eye, just like what we're doing right now. So you can see like all the intricacies of person's face, just their general demeanor and everything. And then over the past 100 years, we just kind of figured out how you can jingle jangle somebody up, talk to them, and actually just kind of get an additional amount from just like the inflection, their voice, their cadence, and everything as well. And then you swap over to like the past 10, 15 years, and it's like, all right, you have 140 characters, go. Because obviously if you're going to try to hash out your differences on the internet, doing it within a small paragraph is obviously, it's more than enough to just handle it. We may need a little bit more transmission power here. So, oh, we can do a call in or something. Well, I actually wasn't going to keep this that long, Bold. I'm just looking at. Oh, I would love to do something like that. We could absolutely do something like that. Just right now, I just wanted to kind of give my final thoughts. Just kind of test this out a little bit, get a little interaction and everything here, as well as it's a lazy way for putting out content without actually doing a video. Although it actually took me some time, because you go through and then you're trying to like update the stream and then go through back, and then you accidentally click the wrong thing, go back a screen or forward a screen, then you got to do it all over again. So the amount of data entry is actually terrifying. I feel like there's easier ways to do this. I think I need a better browser. Oh well. Well, I mean, I like Chrome. And that's the thing. People are hating on Google and YouTube and stuff left and right, but it's like, dude, they're a business. They're trying to do stuff. Oftentimes they only know what they know, and again, we all have our own personal biases and stuff. It's just, I think we need to do a better job of owning up to it, wherever it may be. And the sheer fact that Bold's out here saying, I would be the referee, but I feel like I would be too biased. It's honest. And that's the thing. That's something I think we do need more of. But I agree, Terran Marine. Yeah, that's great for a tiny grocery list. But that's about it. Yeah, 140 characters, man. It's Here's the thing. When I grew up, or at least when I did sales, and I did sales for a good while, probably corporate sales upwards of a decade. I mean, they always tell you, it's like, well, in general polite conversation, you don't talk about religion or politics. It's like, okay, what's left? The weather. Oh, well, up here in New England, it's pretty easy. Oh, it's really nice out. Oh, it's really crappy out. Oh, you don't like the weather? Wait 5 minutes. And that's just how we kind of communicate up here. You can talk about the weather anytime because folks always love to complain. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's just right. There's not enough change. But all right. So here's the thing on climate change. Not that I would arbitrarily jump to a different topic, but I don't know, man. Back in the day, I used to remember having 4 seasons because right now it's like it really seems like all right, we get like about a 6 month winter. We'll have like 2.5, 3 weeks of spring. We'll have like a 3.5 month summer at times, and then we got like a couple of months for fall. And it's like I still used to remember spring. It used to exist. I realize it still does, but just I don't know. The weather seems to be getting kind of wacky. And again, I get it. Weather is different than climate here, but all I know, man, is oh, we got a Jez. What's going on, my man? How we doing? But all I know is when I'm in a discussion with a good Mr. MC, he's like, "Well, memes, well, it's, I mean, if even if the ice caps did melt, we'd only be seeing a 3 to 4 foot increase in the oceans." Is that all? Really? So when you're at 5 or 10 feet above sea level, and the ocean goes up by 4 feet, all I know is my good buddy Bill O'Reilly used to always say, "Tide goes in, tide goes out. Never a miscommunication." So I realize tides are a thing. We might not know why it happened, but they're a thing. So when a thing's gonna happen, you got an extra 4 feet of water. Yeah, that's. Oh, and also in the fifth grade when you do that little terrarium thing where it's like you take a couple of 2 liter soda bottles and you just kind of take one, you put it on the other, and you put the little fish or the tadpoles or something in there. I'm looking at that and that kind of seemed wrong now. But aside from capturing God's creatures, what ends up happening is if you put more water in there, it's an active system. Any active system, if you add additional mass or energy or whatnot to it, it's going to have an effect. So let's say you got a Cat 5 hurricane, which President Trump now knows that they truly do exist. They are a thing, and he has actually noticed them now. So thereby, President Trump knows they're real. He may or may not have considered calling in the B-52s, but that's a separate story. But as far as it actually goes with hurricanes, so back in the 8th grade, I had a great teacher, and he was really big into current events, and he loved natural disasters. That sounds absolutely horrible, but he loved them, and he would discuss kind of how they worked, and we would go over the different hurricanes and the different amounts of energy and intensity. And once you start pushing a Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane, you're talking about like upwards of like a 15 to 25 foot storm surge. And if you have a base extra 4 feet on that, over those hundreds of miles that it is being pushed, yeah, I'd prefer not to see, what was it, 2012 or something, where they have like the 1,000 foot, maybe not 1,000 foot. Not yet. But basically giant ass wave just coming in and just flooding everything. Yeah, that's GG, man. So that's the thing. It's like, all right, I go back to the Captain Planet days. It's like, can't we just give a hoot, don't pollute? Don't we have the technology to help, I don't know, maybe encourage people without actually trying to strap down businesses or something like that? Or I don't know. All I know is I think we have the technology to do better. The sheer fact that I'm basically doing what I used to do, just yelling in a mirror or at a screen at the TV. I'm like, there's nobody else around. I must be absolutely batshit crazy. But if I'm not the only one, and other people have done such things, or even if they're just engaging in their head or occasionally say something, I believe we're all more similar than we are different. But again, sometimes we have to talk about difficult topics. We don't like talking about them, but I think we can actually see we do have a lot more common than we do different. And that's the big thing that I just keep on noticing, because when I hear the same argument on either side, it's like, oh, back in the day, oh, well, those used to be fighting words. All right, when I hear a quote-unquote SJW say that as the excuse for something, and then when I hear a conservative like a Mr. MC say the exact same thing, at that point I'm like, I don't know what happened, but at some point they reached an intersect. Why? And that's the thing. I grew up with Nick News. Who, what, when, where, why, how. They call it W5, but they thought W5 plus H was too much. But that's actually like a journalistic thing. How often do we get that? Or is the issue we're running into, we're being selective of the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Oh, it's okay. George bit me earlier. Or I'm a noob. It's alright. These things happen. But, oh God. Wait a second. Okay, SSM, I'm going to ask you a question right here. At some point during President Trump's presidency, do you think that he may or may not, or at least it is something within the realm of possibility and or likelihood of President Trump, when confronted of an issue of a hurricane, may have inquired about utilizing nuclear weapons? That's the thing, because I absolutely believe it's well within his character, and at the same time, this has been a reoccurring question. So when folks are like, oh my God, he's going to nuke a hurricane, it's like, well, they talked about it before. And I may have just, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have likely just asked the same thing, just if even to get a rise out of folks or something. You're not gonna actually nuke the hurricane. Well, if it actually worked, that might be an actual interesting question. But no, the karma output for that is just absolutely horrific, along with nuclear radiation and everything that we're just kind of like pushing in there. So no, that's a bad idea. Bad. No nuking hurricanes. I may or may not have created a gif of just President Trump leaning over and just calling the B-52s. B-52 takes off. Cowboy rides bomb down. Yee-haw. It might be a fun thing. That's the thing. Thoughts and actions are different. Asking a question shouldn't necessarily just label you as the worst thing in the world. We should be able to entertain ideas without actually believing them. Isn't that what we're supposed to consider? An enlightened mind? Ooh, something like that. But it just seems like we don't have the incentive for that. Like, oh, citation needed. Here's the thing. I'm not going to say the president said we should nuke a hurricane. I can believe he said that, because the president does lie. It's just when he lies, it's often about such ridiculous shit that folks are like, the folks that whom are or likely would be supporting them, they don't really care. And the folks that have a major issue with it, they probably just hate the dude anyway. So that's oh God. Yes, Doctor Strange. I'm not sure if I feel like I did watch that movie. I feel like I feel like I didn't, but I think I actually did at one point, just because we actually kind of covered through, or at least maybe I watched the last couple of scenes actually with the bomb, because it's like, well, hey, just gonna blow stuff up. I guess dude man wanted to feel the power between his legs. Oh no, that was from another movie where we were going to use nuclear weapons to end the movie. Hey, when in doubt, just send in Bruce Willis and a zany drilling crew. I guess he's good like that in a pinch. Maybe not as well as the ghost from Lord of the Rings. Because that's the thing my brother Stats always brings up. He's like, Why wouldn't you keep them? They literally just raided everything. It's like, just send in those guys. And even Gimli was like, these lads may be good in a pinch. But good old Aragorn, he made a promise. They kept the promise. We should try to keep our promises. So, yeah, let's not launch dry ice and stuff, because that may have a very volatile reaction. But all right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going to keep it a little short thing here. I'm very glad that folks are actually able to listen to stuff and things, and yeah, I think it's time to wrap the stream up. So, hey guys, thanks for coming out, and peace out and be safe, everybody. All right, let's go to that